Right, now I've had a lot of requests to show how I do the fancy plaiting on my whips, and this is what this video will be about. When I first started this off, the fancy plaiting, I managed to get hold of a little book called Whip Handle Designs by Ron Edwards. Unfortunately, Ron's passed away now. He was the founder of the Australian Platters and Whipmakers Association, and has written a lot of books on plaiting in general and whip making. And this little book, it's only, it's only 32 pages, but it's full of, packed full of little patterns and how-tos on some of the patterns I do. Now the patterns in this are very basic, but they are something that you can start off with to learn. He shows both methods here, the spiral method, which is what I use, and just the straight plaiting method, which is a little bit harder. I find the spiral method to be nice and easy. You can get this book most probably through Amazon, but I know Mike Murphy, who's a whip maker in Western Australia, has this book on his site for sale. Whether he still has it in stock or not, I don't know. And it's also put out by Ram's Skull Press. Now if you Google Ram's Skull Press, you will find their website, and you can order the book directly from them. Now I'm going to plait a 16 plait just over a wooden handle. What I've done is bind this wooden handle with a wax thread, and that stops any slippage of the strands on the smooth wood. I'll do this in 16 plait, and to start off with, take the strands that we're going to use as a contrasting colour. These are natural, and we bind them on the end of the handle. Now normally if I was making a whip, a bull whip, or even a handle, I would have the handle or the bull whip longer than what I would normally have it, so that I can cut off this braggedy piece at the end, and it makes it all look nice and neat. And usually there's a knot goes over this anyway, so that hides that as well. I put 4 on there, another 4 on there, and I'll tie these on tightly. This waxed thread is called waxed lace. I get it from the United States, from a company called Gudbrod, which is spelled Gudbrod. If you Google that, you should come up with their site. I'm just not sure if they still operate. I heard not long ago that they'd closed down, so possibly they might have closed down. And this is, you're unable to get this anymore. Hopefully not. I've got a fair bit of stock on hand, which I hope will last me out. But right, now this spiral method is exactly that. You spiral your strands around the object to be laced. The main bugbear with this is it has to be tight, and you have to try and get the right spacing in between here. So all your, when you do this last lot of strands, they sit in there nice and neat. What I do to do about 6 inches. Like I said, it's got to be tight. So wind on roughly 6 inches and tie that off. And wind the rest of your strands on. What I like to do is just, if there's 4 strands left there, I'll wind on 3. And as you can see here, this is going to be a pretty tight sort of fit. And that's the way you want it. You want it as tight as you can possibly get it, without overlapping. And what I can do with this is I'll tie these off. Just enough to hold it. And I'll squeeze this last one in just by moving a few of these strands around to make room for it. The tighter you can get this, the better it is. Both ways, in the strands being next to each other and in the tightness on the object that you're going to plait. Now the good thing about this spiral method also is that you can put it around shaped objects. It doesn't have to be straight like this. You can work this out so that it goes around something with a swell in it or whatever. And just tie that off there. And now I'm going to tie it off again at the back of this. The reason for doing that is because, as I'll show you in a minute, if I don't do this and I keep winding this on, the strands on, when you've got some under the thread and some over the thread, it's all a bit uneven. So wind that on nice and tight. And later on we'll just take that off as we plait. And now I'll take this one off. There's a little fid there, indispensable. This is one that I made up myself. It's just a piece of antler with a little knot on the end. And this here is a 3-inch nail. It's just shaped down. I've shaped it down with a grinder, then buffed it on a buffing wheel to make it nice and smooth. We'll undo this now. Now all of this for your base is very important. As I was saying about the fid, you can make your own fids. There you go. That's one, costs nothing. Now pull these up tight, and because we've only gone 6 inches, we'll be able to pull up the whole lot. If you're using kangaroo hide, and it's good kangaroo hide, you don't have to worry about breaking these, because it's just about impossible. These are 6mm wide, and they've been pre-stretched, and they are very strong. Now we'll do the next lot. And like I say, this is very important to have these very tight around your object and have your strands nice and close together. I'll just stop now until I do the whole of this, and we'll come back when we're ready to start to do some designs. Right, now we've finished the winding on of the strands and tightening them up. They're nice and tight. This piece here is a bit over 2 feet long. Now normally on a whip handle, what I would do, so the whip handle's 12 inches long, which would be about there, I would tie that off there, and then I would start the fancy plaiting from the transition to the end of the handle. That way you're only pulling through 18 inches, maybe 2 feet of strands. But if you go the other way, and if you've got an 8 foot or a 10 foot whip, you're pulling through 12 and 15 feet of strands. So it's much easier to go backwards than it is to go forwards in that case. Now, to interweave these, I use a lacing needle. They're called Loctite. Well, they could be some other name too by now. But I get these from Tandy. They're about, I don't know, $3 each, $3.15 or something each. If you buy them by the 100, which I do, they're a lot cheaper. You'll get them for about $2 each, which saves you $100. Now this is 16 plat. What I like to do, just to set everything nice and tight, is to start off with just an under one over one pattern. Well, as I said, normally there'd be a knot go over this anyway. So if I go under one over one, like so, I do that until I've got the whole 8 strands in. Now it's important that you get the angle right here, and as I said, I can't stress enough that you have this all nice and neat before you start plaiting, because if you don't, it will show up in your work later on. And like I said, this is 16 plat, so it's relatively simple. When you start to get up into the 32 and 64 plat, get to be a bit more complicated then. These patterns, most of these patterns I'm going to show you today, lend themselves well to 16 plat and over, and in multiples of 4. If you do them do your strands in multiples of 4, you can put these patterns in and they'll come out nice and even around the whole of the object that you're plaiting. I think I might have to put something light on my knees just to give us a bit of contrast. I'll carry on and finish this off in the under one over one, and I'll be back. 2, 4, 6, 7. Right, now the next sequence I show you, which I've done already, but then found out I hadn't turned the camera on. It's called a zigzag, and that's it there. That's what we'll do now. We'll do this zigzag, and what I like to do when I'm doing patterns in handles is to keep a bit of symmetry to them. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I've done a few of these patterns. But what I'll do is do this pattern here, and then I'll do the flowers pattern in the middle of it, and then I'll do another lot of zigzags as well. So to start, being a 16 plait, I like to keep 4 strands in between each pattern. To start off with, we'll go under 3, twist here, over 1 and under 3. You can see these strands are a bit darker here. That's because I've been over them before I realised the camera wasn't on. Now we'll go in the same spot we went in before. We'll go under 1, over 3 and under 1. So there's a sequence to this, as there is with all of these patterns. Now we come back 2 from where we went in, 1, 2, under 3, over 1 and under 3. Next one under the same place there, so we go under 1, over 3 and under 1. And you can see we're developing a zigzag of 3, under 3, over 3. Next one, come back 2, go under 3, over 1, under 3. So you can see it's a fairly easy sort of pattern to remember. Let's just come off there. Now these lacing needles have a very fine thread in the end, and they just thread on. They can thread on very tightly. You need to be careful you don't get the skin of your finger in between the needle and the leather, because it'll wind up the skin of your finger as well. And you can see that's very tight there. And I was just recently, today actually, I received an email from a young lady in Israel. Under 1, over 3, under 1, who's an up and coming whip maker, doing a very good job. But she was concerned that she couldn't keep the strands tight when she was using this spiral method. Now you can see how easy it is to keep them tight. Back 2, under 3. Like I said, this is very tight, and of course it's tighter now because we're doing it over a solid piece of wood, whereas if we were doing it over a plaited belly of a whip, there'd be a bit of give. But with a solid surface underneath, there's no give. So back 2, under 3, over 1 Pull them up tight. You'll also, when you first kick off, if you're going to use lacing needles, you might want to use like a finger store, a piece of leather over your finger, because it'll wear your finger away. You'll get a blister there. Over the years, about 38 in all now, I've built up a callus there, so for me it doesn't matter. But until you do that, you can end up with a very sore finger. Last one, under 1 over 3 under 1, and that finishes the whole sequence there. Now if you can see that, can you see? Yes, you can see that, that's good. There you are. That's a zigzag. Now, we'll take the highest strand here, go over 4, we'll do these flowers now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the flowers, that's these here, they just fit in nicely. Under 1 over 1, under 1 over 1, like I said, very tight, over 1 and under 1. Now if you get this book, after a while this will just be routine. Right, so under 1 over 1, under 1 over 1, under 1 over 1, under 1. So we've gone under 4. Now for the first flower we'll come back 1, we'll go under 2, like so, over 1 and under 2. Oh, geez, that's tight. That's the way you want it. Now, we'll go over 2, 1, 2, under 1. That's it for that move, right? Now we'll come back here, follow that strand through there where we've gone under 2. So we're just reversing the sequence actually. We're going under 2, over 1, and under 2. Pull that up tight. When you first do this you might have a bit of trouble getting the angle right here, and if you do, you'll either come to the end, it'll be too crowded, or it will be, you will have gaps, but you can just push your strands over and fix that up. Now we come back from this one, we come back 1, 2, 3, and we go under 1, over 1, under 1, over 1, under 1, over 1 and under 1 again. That's number 4. Pull that up tight. Do this for a while and you'll get muscles on your muscles. Now again, back 1, under 2, over 1 and under 2. You might think that it's not necessary to have this all that tight, but it is. And especially when you're not working over a solid base, if you start to work over the thong part of a whip, you'll need it as tight as you can possibly get it. Alright, over to these two under one. That's that. Give it a twist. You see these are a bit too close together. Let's move them out a bit. Squeeze that out of the way. And some of this might look a smidgen rough now, but when you roll all this out nice and smooth, it all comes together as well. So we've got under one there, back here, under two, push it around a bit, under two, over one and under two, and let's finish the flowers. Now if we take the highest strand, show with this one, go over four, and then back into a zigzag pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, under three, get a feet in there, open her up. This angle here, these strands here, should be roughly at 90 degrees to these strands here. And you should be right. So, under three, over one and under three. And it's the same sequence as before. Now I'll do another one. We'll go under one, over three and under one. Now that's the way we just keep on going like that until we've finished this section of zigzags. I'll do that and come back. Now finished the zigzags. The next one we'll do, I'll just go to a straight under one over one single band. Again, take your highest strand here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I'm doing this is just to, it ensures that everything stays nice and tight. It's a good idea to throw one of these in every so often in your plaiting, and especially if you're doing just work on your thong. If not this, something that is similar in tightness. That just keeps it all nice and tight. Okay. As I said, this is just a simple under one. Diamond flat. I'll finish that off and come back. Right, that's done, and now we'll just take this wax thread off. We can remove this now. Now by doing that under one over one plait there, that band, not only does it tighten things up if they're loose, it stops it from going loose, but it also designates a sort of border where we'll change our plaiting pattern into something else. What I'll do here is, I think it's called a double stair step, I think. Hang on, I'll show you. There we go. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yep. That one there, we'll do this double stair step. In the middle we'll put some interlocking diamonds, and then we'll do a double stair step again. Now the double stair step is 1, 2, 3, 4, under 2, over 1 and under 2. Then you come back 1, that just keeps it all in the same line, and the same sequence again. Under 2, over 1, and under 2. I'll do that once more, and then I'll just carry on and finish it off. And I'm going to change this piece of leather into this too, I've got here for contrast, because it's very noisy. Right, again, come back 1 here, under 2, over 1, and under 2. Right, I'll finish this off, I'll be back. Back with a piece of blue felt this time. Hopefully this won't be too bright. Finish the double stair step. Now we'll do a diamond pattern, an interlocking diamond pattern. Now when you see this on a whip, it looks hard, but it's not. It's fairly simple, and again just sequences. Double diamond pattern. Bear with me. Here we go. That's it there, interlocking diamond. All the patterns I do in this video are in this book, so get the book. It's a very handy thing to have. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. This time we go under 4, and I'm not going to make it one hit, so I'll take 2 bites at it. Like I said, this is very tight. So we've got under 4, over 1 and under 1. I'll just zoom that in a bit. Go in the same place, this time under 1, over 1 and under 4. Again, I'll take 2 bites at it because it's very tight, because there's no give in the surface. Makes it a bit harder. Get that needle through. Bring them up tight. Now, come back 2 and we go under 4. You can see this is how that sequence begins again. And that's all that is, all the way through. Under 4. Over 1 and under 1. Go in the same spot, under 1, over 1 and under 4. Back 2, under 4, you can see there with these strands will twist around, not a big deal. Turn them around the right way and pull them through. So I've got under 4, over 1, under 1. Then we've got same place, under 1, over 1 and under 4. And my needles come out. Now if you want to do patterns that are not in the book, you can work them out on graph paper, or if you're fairly computer literate, and this was shown to me by a customer of mine, a past customer, you can do this in Microsoft Word. What you do is go to open up Microsoft Word, go to Insert and Shapes, Basic Shapes, and pick diamonds. And put diamonds on the page. Again, back 2, under 4. Put diamonds on the page as you would in a graph with little squares, and you can work out your patterns on that. So you can work out patterns. I've used it for 64 plait a lot when I do a 64 plait whip. You can work it out on paper in under 4, and then you can transfer that to your pattern on your whip. So for a 16 plait like this, you wouldn't put a row of 16 diamonds, you would only put a row of 8 diamonds, and then interweave your other colour, your black colour, say through that. I use black because it prints out better. last one, under 1, over 1 and under 4. You can see there we've got a little bit of a space. We'll just push him back. Right, from there, highest one on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go a double stair step again, which is as before, under 2, over 1 and under 2. And not only will that keep everything nice and tight, but it gives you a bit of a definite border. Under 2, over 1, under 2. I'll finish that and we'll come back. Now, as you can see here, I've miscalculated a bit with the spacing. But look, that's not a big problem. All you've got to do is push it over. Just push it over with a fid. Next one. And you just keep doing that until everything comes up nice and snug. There we go, and she's done. Now I'll take this wax thread out, the next one we'll do is bear with me. It's called a bird's eye. No, Egyptian eyes. Bird's eye plat's a little bit different. Quite simple actually. Egyptian eyes. There it is there. Now you want to, when you put this in, you want to make sure that it comes up at the front of your handle, because you can only put one of these eyes in a 16 plat, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to put 2 in, you need 20 plat, because you need 10 strands to put 2 in. Now, to start that off, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go under 4. Under 4. Over 1 and under 1. And the next one is under 1, over 3, 1, 2, 3, and under 1. Next one you're doing it all in the same line there. Under one, over one, under one, over one and under one. Next one is under one, over three and under one. Now the next one, come back, one, go under one, over one, and under four. Right. Then come back one, under one and over one. Again, back one, over, under one, over one and under one. Is that right? No, that's not right. No, that's right. Under, over, under. You have to forgive me for talking to myself. I do that. You do that as you get older. Under, over, and under. There we go. So that's that. Push that up there. And you can see the, oh, go that way. You can see that. And that's like the book, you see? Oop, where are we? There. You'll see that better later on. Now, we'll just go to a double staircase. Again. Take your highest strand, over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, under 2, over 1 and under 2. You've seen this before, so I'll return when it's finished. What I'll do next here is just a solid band, and this looks good in either just a straight colour or two-tone. Oh, this is a 20 plate whip that I've just finished for a customer. This is a little 20 plate signal whip, but I've done the handle part in solid band work, and all that is really the herringbone, the ordinary herringbone turned around on its side and going around the whip instead of going down the whip. But it looks quite effective. In two-tone it looks even better. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do a band of under 3. Under 3 over 3. Alright. So we've gone under 3, over 3, and under 3. or if you wanted to, you could just leave it as one single band. Bit of a twist here. Get that out before it causes any problems. So we've got under 3, over 3 and under 3. And that's the whole sequence there. Come back one. Under 3. Over 3. And under 3. Alright, I'll do that and come back. We're starting to run out of time with this video and I want to try and keep it under an hour, or to an hour if I can. There's that double band finished. Now I've also I've just done a little double bracelet here, an under one over one sequence twice. Now I'll just do a quick initial. That's in this book as well, if I can find it. We'll just do a quick initial C. Now you can put whole names in these whips, straight up and down the handle. So there we go, we'll do an initial C. Right. Again we'll go 4. We should be able to get this in time. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go under 3. You can work these initials out on your computer or on your graph paper. Quite simple. They're all in uppercase. A bit hard to get them in lowercase, unless you have very large uppercase letters. So you're on under 3. Same place, under 1. Same place again, under 1. Then we'll go up 1, under 1. Over 2 and under 1. And then up 1 and over 3. Take this highest one, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just go under 1 here for the time being. This will be nice and quick, and that'll end this video. And that way you'll be able to see this C a lot more plainly. Now I do these videos, I put these videos up without any editing. I don't watch it again. Haven't got time for a start. When it's all boiled down, I get bored sitting there watching myself. So if there are any mistakes, if my head gets in the way like it did in one of the videos and I didn't realise, I'm sorry. That's the way it is. The key to all this is practice, practice, practice. Don't write to me and say, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. If it's too hard, that means it's not for you. That's all this is practice, practice, practice. When I first started off, I had no one to show me, and no one would show me. So it was a fairly hard row to hoe. But with practice, perseverance, and a fair bit of wasted money in the way of leather, I got there after 38 years. I want to try and pass on as much as I possibly can. I don't have any children or grandchildren who are remotely interested in this, so I'd like to see this carry on. There we go. Where are we? Letter C. And that concludes this video. Like I said, perseverance, practice, practice, practice. Hopefully I'll get a few more up. Oh, well, I suppose I better show you the whole bloody thing. And we'll pan out a bit. And that's it there. There we go. With the letter C. The bird's eye. What I'll do is just quickly roll this and show you what the difference is between rolled and unrolled. There we go, that's nice and smooth now. I roll mine on a, oh, there's a bit of a space here, I'll fix it up. But I roll mine on a either a marble slab, which is a discarded piece of marble from a monumental masons, in other words a tombstone, or a piece of safety glass. If I'm doing very fine plat, I'll use safety glass. That's it, see you later.